a lot of us black men, we will rather be friends with the homie that, you know, probably has rape attached to his name than the homie that's part of the LGBTQ plus community. And I think that.
Yo, what friends?
Bro,
what friends? Yeah. What's going on, YouTube? Back with another reaction, Flake Talk. Today we got a reaction to a Jubilee video, which we haven't done in a while. So all of our new viewers, do all black men think the same?
I want to officially welcome y'all to Flake Talk, to the Flake Talk community. Today we got a community tab open on YouTube. So we're going to be posting more, adding some polls, some images. We're going to try to interact with y'all more. We're glad you could be here. We want to officially welcome y'all. As you guys know, that's Alan, Joseph, Ozzy, and we got Manny, but he's not here right now. But
sometimes we have Manny, sometimes we might have Marco, sometimes Brandon might show up. There's hidden members that you haven't met, but that's the mystery of Flake Talk.
But let's get right into it.
Black men that date white women, there's something different, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you know what it is. Like you oh, okay, Childish Gambino, I can see that. Jordan Peele, okay, I can see that.
I feel like I have to say something about this, right?
Already?
Any more into this, I have to say something about this. Just remember, guys, here at Flake Talk, you know, we try to give you the most realistic representation of how reality is like. You know, watching this, just know that, you know, if there's something that's gonna be said that's gonna be off, we're gonna try to correct it.
I am expected to have a big dick. 3, 2.
Strongly agree.
I mean, that's a flex as a black man. I'm definitely not going to disagree with that one. My man's not confident. He's just following the crowd.
Nobody disagrees.
Look at it, bro. Look at it, bro. Go back.
Like it's a stereotype, and we know that stereotypes aren't realistic. But I mean, personal encounters, I don't feel like there's leeway. I feel like, okay, that one we're keeping. Like that's what the general notion is.
I think it gets into the issue of positive and negative stereotypes and how people need to realize that there is no such thing. Because what you do is you put people into a box where they're expected to live up to a standard. And I feel like it's over-sexualizing black men. You know, you should want to date someone more for the pleasure physically that they can bring to you. And I know I've talked to people personally who will be like, oh, you're lucky you're black. You have a big member. And I'm like, well, I have other things to offer too. Like, I'm well-spoken. I have a good sense of humor. I'm well-traveled. Like, you go straight to like what's underneath my zipper.
Yeah, I mean, that's been my experience a lot of times, especially, you know, meeting different.
It's a flex, bro. It's a woman talk like that. Oh, you shouldn't like me for my ass and tits. Like, bro, as a man, it's a flex. Like, come on.
It is over-sexualization, but as a man, men don't really get sexualized at all.
I know.
So, I mean, I guess it is a positive. I mean, it really is what you make out of it. I mean, it doesn't bother me too much. The first guy who was talking, he was like there's a lot of stereotypes that we tried to break, but that's one that we kept. I mean, it's not like a negative stereotype, you know?
Chilling. So, nobody's complaining except for that guy for some reason.
Like the two who aren't and strongly agree, low key they wanted to go to like strongly disagree. There's something about them we don't know about.
We don't know about.
People, that's the expectation. And I just tell them, 2-inch Punisher, you know? Don't expect too much. I'm just joking, but it's I think a lot of people watch a lot of porn too, and that's where it comes from. Like when you watch a lot of porn, you see, you know, these mandingos and, you know, 10-inch monsters, and they expect that to be reality. And a lot of times it's not, but that's the expectation that they have.
So our audience submit hot takes about this group specifically, and they are hot. So black men cheat on their significant others far more than other races.
I'm just like, where is this study published? Did someone do some research?
Cap. That is cap.
Strongly disagree.
Black men don't cheat. Period.
Black men don't cheat. Nothing else has to be said. Nah, but on a serious note though, I don't know why skin color would have to have an effect on like the rate of cheating.
That makes no sense.
Like all races of men and women both cheat probably at equal rates. Different races probably cheat at equal rates. It's a character thing. It's not like a racial thing. Yeah.
Like it has something to do with like bad connotation. If like a black man cheats, it's already bad ideas of everything that goes on inside that community. So it's just another thing that you just hear.
It's highlighted because of all the other bad things that happen, I guess, in that community.
So they calculated numbers over a given period of time.
The reason why I was going to be neutral is because I don't know the numbers. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I disagree.
So I came this way because of the keyword far more. I was like, do black men cheat?
in generally, like you're not apt to not cheat because of the color of your skin.
To prescribe this to race feels nefarious in a way that I feel like it was coming from a place of somebody that got cheated on by a black man. Like, it was like, yeah, black men cheat all the time. Come on, this doesn't even make sense.
Black men are attracted to big butts.
Who wouldn't be attracted to big butts?
Bro, you could just erase black in that sentence and everybody should go.
Yeah, yeah.
Man would be attracted to big butts.
Man,
instantly.
yes. I've never heard someone be like, ew. What?
You got different types of people, but like it's all the same thing. Extra butt means extra fun. You know what I mean? It's all for that.
Do we agree with that statement, or do I personally?
I mean, there's nothing biologically innate to like black men to
I feel that
to like ass.
I think it ties into hip hop and the whole strip club scene right now. We are so far gone from like the natural aesthetics of just a natural person that right now it's all about who has the baddest ass. Who ass is 25 pounds with 2-pound legs. You know what I mean? Like that's hot for some reason. And I personally don't get it. I mean, it looks unnatural to me, like, you know, but I mean, a nice ass is just a nice ass, though.
Bro, black people are funny, and if you ever try and roast
yeah, you clapping hard. First off, he's talking about like the Kim Kardashian like fake.
Oh yeah.
That's not what we're talking. We're talking about just like literal like nicely shaped, going smoothly with the leg. Oh man, there's nothing better to see.
Oh man.
Beautiful.
Bro, black people are funny.
they will roast your ass so hard that you'll have no roast to rebuttal.
I don't know how to digest that.
I get what he's saying. I think black people as a collective are funny. If you go to black Twitter, if you go to black Instagram, black Facebook, like you're going to laugh. So I think that in that aspect, that's why like that statement has so much truth in it, because it's like.
So I guess it's like the question is like, black people as a whole, are they funny? Or is like any black person gonna knock your ass off because he's super funny?
I
think that's just the difference.
Yeah.
Black people as a whole, like, yeah, they got jokes, you know, it goes back and
I think any minority in general is more likely funnier because they're censored less.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
And I mean, they grew up in the struggle. They have like different problems that they can relate to.
Exactly.
So, and it's also like part of the culture too. I mean, roasting, like comedy. Oh, there's so many like black comedians who are like in the top 10. If like most people were to put a list of like top 10 comedians, like you'd put Dave Chappelle on there, you'd put Eddie Murphy on there, you'd put Richard Pryor, you'd put maybe even Kevin Hart. People will put Kevin Hart on there. So Chris Rock, that's five right there.
If you're living in like a hood type of neighborhood and like you're funny, like people want to attract to you more because you're like the light in a dark environment type of thing. Like you don't even need to be like the tough dude or the big dude. If you can like have a good like a mouth game, I guess, whether it's boys or girls, make them laugh. People respect you, man.
You can make her jiggle. You can.
If you can make her giggle, then you can make that ass jiggle. Hey, that's facts too.
That's why I said as a collective.
But don't think that any black person you go to expect like a really good joke, you know?
The N-word should stop being used by all races.
I disagree. I mean, I'm gonna use it, so I'm not gonna be hypocritical.
Yeah, I think I slightly agree because me personally, I don't use it, and I mean it's just like extra drama. But at the same time, I don't really care. Like, I don't care who uses it, black, white. Like, it doesn't evoke an emotional response to me. Who says it, who doesn't? Even if someone's saying it in a racist way, they're just like bigoted. They're just ignorant.
When it comes to like all races, the Hispanic boys that I'm cool with, they say it all the time.
They say it more than we do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's slang and people have freedom of speech. Actually, I changed my stuff to slightly disagree.
3, 2, 1, go.
That's hard.
I feel like I could.
I just think the N-word, when you look at the root of the word, even slaves would use it to describe other black people when accepting their supposed oppression. So I just think, when I think about that, I don't think you can do anything to erase the history and the blood that's been shed on that word. There are so many people who the last thing they heard was the N-word as they were being murdered. So I just, when I think about that.
Bro, it's not that serious, man.
Yes, I think the word should stop being used.
Personally, me, I feel like it kind of starts with us. The fact that we make it so cool within music and within like entertainment that it lets other people feel like they have a pass, or that it's okay because my favorite rapper said it, or I heard it here, or you guys say it all the time, how come I can't say it? But at the end of the day, it's black culture pain, and if anyone's going to be using it, it should only be us, and that's it.
You can't really own a word. I think, you know, we can own it in the sense where it's a black cultural thing, but the idea where we kind of make it out to where we say like, oh, other people can't say it, I think that's more of like a insecurity within the black culture of not being able to hold power, because historically, it's like, right, historically, black people didn't have as much power, so we're trying to hold on to literally a word that only has meaning because we add meaning to it.
I mean,
Okay.
respectfully, I ain't trying to hear that, right? Like, I feel like the only reason it's policed so much, and I feel like the only reason we even have like this debate or this debacle over whether we can use it or not is because we're black people. And I'm not one of those people that think everything is racist and all that, but in this specific instance, right, in several instances, women in many instances have reclaimed the word bitch to be a term of endearment. There are, in the 90s, there was heavier women reclaimed the word fat, obviously respelling it and things like that. But I feel like in those instances, nobody bats an eye. Why is that understood? But with this, it's so confusing. Like, oh, I don't know if like, you know when there are boundaries set. And that word is one of the boundaries that I think we have respectfully and rightfully set up for ourselves. So I don't want to, I'm not trying to hear the like, if we use it, why can't it? We do that all the time with a bunch of different things. And I don't think this should be one of the areas where we're like, yeah, let everybody, nah, I'm not.
Well, I think it goes back to where you're saying boundaries. Because when you break down to inner communities where, you know, blacks and Asians, blacks and whites in hip hop culture, where there's like, it's 5 group of friends and their black friends don't care. They're like, say it. Like that happens. So it's like, we're having this broad conversation, and, you know, I know all of us aren't trying to be the spokespeople for black people, right? But it's like, it's such a convoluted, I guess, topic where it's like the expectations aren't clear to people depending where you are. If you're on the East Coast, West Coast, like it's very unclear. That's what I think. I'm not arguing whether or not it's okay to say it or whether white people should say it. I'm just saying, if we don't want white people to say it, I think it needs to be very clear. And I think even in fact, in this new age of our culture, I think we're seeing more people saying we don't want white people to say it.
Homophobia is a big issue in the black community.
What does this actually mean? What is it saying?
I wouldn't say that black people are the most liberated in terms of the sexuality argument, but I don't think it's like a huge issue. They're not the most accepting, but they're not like the most hateful towards homosexuals.
A lot of conservatives tend to be white, and a lot of white people on the conservative side tend to believe in sexually conservatism. So I would say, if anything, white people are the ones that are.
I mean, I think it's just a generational thing. Like, if you go to the older generation, then yeah, it's going to be more of a problem there. But I mean, in terms of our generation, no one really cares that much. Like, my dad does not want to hear none of that business. Like, every time he sees a rainbow flag, like, he turns it into straight Republican, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, conservative, you know what I'm saying? But
that's my
I mean, I think
too,
it's a generational thing. Yeah.
Well, she saw an ad on TV one time of like 2 black men kissing, and she goes, "Hey, Radinya, man." Basically, like, Jesus Christ.
Like, if you look at the like amount of like homosexual people, a big number of them are from the black community, compared to like if you were to compare it like with Indians or something, or like Asians. Like, like obviously there's more white people, but like I think second would be like black people in terms of the amount,
I agree.
the number. So
I don't think this is necessarily a black community problem. Like, homophobia is a real thing. No one wants to be hated, period. So it's a us problem, not a black community problem.
And especially when you compare it to other countries too. Like,
I feel that,
compared to other countries, like it's just a lot worse.
3, 2, 1, go.
A lot of us black men, we will rather be friends with the homie that, you know, probably has a rape attached to his name than the homie that's part of the LGBTQ plus community. And I think that that's something that, you know, we got to work on as people, because my thing is, I don't understand the whole big phobia.
Yo, what friends?
Bro,
What friends does he have?
What friends does he have, my guy?
Yo, what type of friends are you talking about, bro?
You see, this is my problem with Jubilee. Like, it's saying this, it rolls off the tongue as if like it's a normal thing. Like you can't say that with a straight face. Like you just can't. Again, like this is why you guys watch us instead of watching it straight from there, because you know we'll let you know if something like this is not congruent with reality. This is not what normally happens. That's not what normally happens.
Yeah,
This don't happen like that. No.
The thing is, I don't understand the whole big phobia of, okay, what he decides to do in his free time or behind closed doors, why does that bother you so much? Why does that affect you? Like, why do you feel like it's such like the scum of the earth?
And I also think it comes from religion, because I don't want to get too controversial with that, but people are very religious, especially in the Black community, you know, Christians. And you know, when you talk about the Bible, you know, they say, you know, homosexuality is a sin. So a lot of people have that ingrained in their mind. This is absolutely not right. And for a lot of people too, when they see a man, they want to see a manly man, and they associate that with being straight.
Heterosexual men have a fear that homosexual men will treat them how they treat women, if that makes sense. And so they're afraid of that treatment. And I'm on somewhat agree because I'm rather torn. I think I've lived a life where I'm around very open-minded, inclusive people. So I'm not sure how big of an issue it is in the community, but I know that in the Black church sphere, homosexuality is often made out to be the worst thing that you can be. There's almost nothing worse than being gay. And I think that's also where some of the homophobia comes from. We like to ignore all the other sins, all of the other things that the Bible outlines that are not holy. And then we just take homosexuality and we make it the worst. You know, granted, the Bible says it's an abomination, I get that, but the Bible says any sin will send you to hell, so.
You see someone go over there, you go over there too. You know, there's no real
It's a real
connection.
session of Jubilee today, bro.
I don't like their content. I don't like it. It's that simple. I just don't like it. I will not take this sitting down. Like maybe there'll be some sort of like relevance if like, you know, you just like separated everybody and didn't put everyone together and got their genuine input. But since you put everyone in the same room where they go in the where you can actually see where everyone's going, like it's just gonna be like skewed.
Hold him back, Alan. Hold him back.
Yeah, hold me back, man. Hold me back. I got something to say.
You can't be pro-Black and date a white person.
What does it mean to be pro-Black?
I don't even know. Like, you see, the questions don't even make sense, man. Like, what?
Strongly disagree.
Bro, it sounds like some Dr. Umar question, bro.
I know. Like, what?
Nobody crisis. His brother is lost.
I strongly disagree too.
I don't even have an explanation for it. Like, it's just strongly
simple.
Strongly disagree. Instantly. Simple. Let's see what they do here.
And date a white person. 3, 2, 1, go.
This dude.
Let's see.
I think really the issue with this statement is, for me, if you are a stand-up person and you stand up on your morals and your character, it doesn't matter who you date. And I think a lot of the issue is a lot of people get into, you know, interracial relationships, or they date white people and they forget who they are. And if you are pro-Black, it doesn't matter if you're dating a Black person, a white person, because you can date a white woman and a Black woman and still not even be for the cause. So I really think it's up to the person if they stand on their morals or not.
Agree to a certain extent, but personally me, I feel like if you're pro-Black, you're pro-Black for everything. Like, you're for the advancement of the race, you're for businesses, you're for everything Black. So it's kind of hard for me to understand how someone can be pro-Black and want so much for, you know, the Black culture and the Black race, and then they're in a relationship with someone that doesn't represent that, you know.
So are you saying that if you are Black and you're pro-Black, you cannot act on attraction to someone from another race?
Personally, I'm not pro-Black, but in my mindset, like, I'm saying if you're pro-Black, you wouldn't find someone that's not Black attractive to me. I'm not saying attractive, but you wouldn't even.
It doesn't make sense, bro. It doesn't make sense.
Yo, first he said the thing about the ass, and now he's saying this. Bro, he is capping hard, bro.
You can't make this shit up, bro. Like, what did I just hear? Like, come on. Paid actor. Yeah, so you say paid actor.
Facts.
Very much so paid.
This guy's sketch. for sure.
This guy's sketch. Like this
All-
whole
all
thing
three-
is staged.
Yeah, all three of his answers have been like weird. Like first he's talking about the butt, and then he's talking about he's friends with the rapist, and now he's I don't know what it's called.
And then not only that, but then he didn't even answer the question truthfully and how he actually felt. He just said, I'm not pro-black, by the way, but this is how I feel. Like, what? Why don't you just answer with how you feel? Why do you have to like feel like you have to represent something that's not apparent, that's not there? You say how you feel. How do you feel? Answer it. Answer the
Yo,
question.
Joseph, I've never seen you so passionate about something. Bro.
This is stupid. This is stupid, man. I don't stand for nonsense. This is for all the about 300,000 people who saw this. I hope you know like this is some paid actors.
Cross that line and even engage in a relationship with them. You can have like, you know, like lust, like, hey, you know, she's an attractive white woman, but ideally you want black kids, you want black family, you want your lineage to carry on.
I don't know. I feel like the question in itself kind of like low-key negates the demographics of the country. I mean, black folks make up 13% of the country, roughly, and a lot of the time we live in concentrations. So, you know what I'm saying? If you in Iowa, it's gonna be a little tough to find you like a black woman, especially somebody that might identify as pro-black with you. So I think it depends on what you do, not who you decide to be with.
My first response to that is like, what's the point of looking at people differently? It's like we get upset that people do it to us in generally, like looking at black people and judging them and stereotyping them and making assumptions about them. It's like, so on the flip side, why should we be doing that to other people regardless of who, you know, they're in a relationship, depending on the color of their skin?
I'm not gonna lie, I do. Like I look at people differently based on who they marry. Because dating, you know, you could be dating for fun. I feel like I look at people different based on who they marry. Like Jordan Peele, Childish Gambino, I feel like I can look at them and be like, I'm not looking down on them. I don't think of them negatively, but I'm like, oh, I see. And like, oh, okay, I see. Like, because like black men that date white women, there's something different, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you know what it is. Like oh, okay, Childish Gambino, I can see that. Jordan Peele, okay, I can see that. I can't think of another example, but I feel like I can tell, like, okay, like that's cool, you know, I'm happy, you happy. It's no disrespect to them, but I see the difference.
Just like I see
prefer a
when,
light-skinned
one
partner.
of my boys, when he prefers white shorties, you know, like I can see that.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you see? What is it? Tell me, what is it that you're seeing? What is the observation that's so critical, that's mission critical?
I can see it, you know what I'm saying? I can see it.
It's an observation, Joseph. You know what I'm saying?
Observation?
Yeah, bro, we just see.
I prefer a light-skinned partner to a dark-skinned partner.
Nah, I mean, I don't have like a. I guess I kind of do have some sort of like a preference, but it's not like a literal mental preference where I'm like, I'm choosing one over the other.
Yeah, facts. Like I'll be cool with either. But I have a preference.
I found some like a lot of very like dark skinned, beautiful like queens that are just like. I do feel like being light skinned low key. It gives you some sort of a lot of light skinned girls really just be like, but because they're light skinned with curly hair, all of a sudden they're like badder than what they really would like are. You know what I'm saying? So I think there is a bit of like overhype when it comes to like light skins.
On like social media of just like, you know, people with like weaves acting mad ratchet, and then you see it in real life, and it is an instant bad connotation. I mean, you know, like a beautiful dark skinned girl.
Be careful what you're saying, bro.
I am very careful with my words here. I am trying to be very careful with my words here.
Joseph is right there, bro. He's right there. Like, I'm scared right now. Like, nah, keep going, bro.
Joseph, you work hard to build up to where we're at right now, bro. Be very careful.
Bro,
if I can kiss him for me,
I was checking what I was saying, bro. It's not gonna be good if I carry on with me. Just listen. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, everyone's a person. It's all the same. Doesn't make much of a difference.
3, 2, 1, go.
I prefer a light-skinned partner to a dark-skinned partner.
That means being
Okay.
honest.
So notice
Over here.
the
All right,
darkest
so the reason
skin
why
guy is going to say agree.
subconsciously for me, the reason why I feel that way is, growing up, I was always, bullied for my skin color. I always felt out of place. I was always told I'm not black enough. And when you constantly hear that and you get beat down with that, and
What?
you doubt yourself. And like I said, I grew up in a broken home. I grew up in a foster care system, so it took me a long time to figure out myself. And for a lot of times, I don't tell a lot of people this, but I used to hate the way I looked. I was like, I don't like being dark skinned. I want to be light. And I'm just being honest, but now I'm more comfortable with myself.
I guess I have a
love that.
question.
I love
Do you
that.
think it's because you look at a potential partner as lighter skinned so that your potential children or so would be lighter skinned so they don't have to go through what you feel like you went through?
Good
Nah,
question.
at the end of the day, for me, I'll marry whoever I seem fit. So it really doesn't, to me, matter about the skin color. But I will admit, subconsciously, I do think, when I see a light-skinned woman, I actually, look a little longer, or I might linger a little longer, or be a little more interested, just because of, that consciousness that I had growing up. So it's not something that I say that dark-skinned women are far unsuperior or light-skinned women are more superior. It's just because of the constant beat down and the constant hatred about me being dark-skinned and the way I was treated, that subconsciously I do think that way.
First-year representation.
Do you feel like you have some sort of like self-hatred because of that?
Yeah, well, not anymore, because it took me a long time. I mean, this started happening, like I said, when I was 6, when I got in foster care. So, but now I'm more comfortable with looking at myself. I'm a good-looking, tall glass of chocolate milk. So,
Chocolate.
I have a question. Like, do you at all feel like you've become the person that bullied you by then having this preference toward lighter skinned people as opposed to someone that would look like you?
I will admit, yes, I will admit that. And like I said, we just shooting a realism. So I do agree with that, yeah. And I think that's why now I'm focusing on myself, and being a part of this discussion is very important for me, because I'm starting to realize that prejudice needs to go. And I see this a lot in the entertainment industry now, where they want a black woman, but they want your complexion. They want that light skin that look like she can go in between the white family and the black family. And I think I only speak openly about it because I know there's a lot of people who feel that way too, but they don't want to admit to it, or they don't want to express it and be rejected. So
I have let's sort of pause this real quick, right? So you notice that this guy right here and the guy with the red Vans, they're the more neutral ones in this. So that means that they don't really have much of a preference. This is a bad representation of reality, because like, this guy, he's like he's the most genuine person here in this right now. Look, they're all lined up there, feeling like confident together, power in numbers. You know what I mean? So like, it doesn't really matter how they actually feel. It's just as long as they're in the winning sides.
How do you guys feel about like when people say that preference is racism?
No.
I think prejudice is something that exists, and the way it is used, it determines whether or not like it's toxic or not. Like if you abuse prejudice, and that's when it becomes racism. But you can have prejudice and also use it in a better connotation. Like people are always going to have some type of judgment about someone right off the bat before they even get to meet them. But it doesn't always mean something bad. It can be abused, but that's a rare occasion, and that's when you call it racism.
I would say that preference is, it just depends on like what your reason for the preference is. If your preferences are built off of like racial or like just like racial stereotypes, then I'd say that that'd be like problematic. But if you just like the way a certain race looks, and that's literally just your preference. But
if like if your preferences aren't built off of just genuine interest, and they're built off of stigmatisms, then yeah, you can obviously tell which one's in the right, which one's in the wrong.
You see it in the media too, so I think that plays a big part in that too.
I currently go to therapy. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't currently go.
Me and my girlfriend's my therapist, but she don't like that. So I'm thinking about going fairly soon just to speak my mind, because I feel like there's a lot of things that, everything's cool up front, but everyone has like something that's just like digging at them somewhat internally that, may hinder them in some sort of way, and I feel like You know, if you have that type of feeling, like, you should go.
Yeah, therapy can be going to the beach or like going out to eat or doing something that relaxes you. So
Physical therapy, going to the
Hold
gym.
on, hold on.
Yeah.
we have to be able to draw a
They're
line.
trying to
I know what
like
I'm saying. It's open to
go around it.
interpretation. I'm here
Well,
because
yeah.
I took it as like sitting.
This is a talking about drawing the line. Like this is a question, yes or no question. You know, do you go to therapy? No, yes. Well, how could you say I slightly agree? I do go to therapy, so we can't.
Therapist, someone licensed to do this. Do I do that? No. Do I find other avenues to relieve stress or whatever? Yes.
But you can't mix up self-care with therapy.
Okay,
It's
maybe that's what
two
I'm
different
doing.
things. Yeah. I've been in therapy for quite some time, personal therapy,
Massage
just for
therapy?
myself, just issues that I have internally that I speak with someone with on a professional level. I recommend therapy. Therapy is literally the best thing you could possibly do.
For me, I find therapy in my faith, you know, and I know there are a lot of people who they look at like, you know, the Christian church specifically and might not adhere to that. But I think in recent years, the church has been adding more professionalism to what therapy means.
Having these conversations, you know, for some reason, it makes you feel like less of a man, because when we talk about therapy, you know, people like, really? You going to therapy? But when you think about it, that's why a lot of people have anger issues. That's why a lot of black men have anger issues, because, you know, they grow up a certain way or they face a lot of challenges and they don't know how to express it. So the first thing they do is they take it out on you or their girlfriend or their mom, and they don't have someone or an outlet to express it. So I think we need to normalize going to therapy and not pushing it off as a white thing. We need it. You know, we need healing, and we need somebody to talk to us.
I think
I agree.
healing.
Men, like, our way of showing aggression is different from how women show aggression. And women, they do it by manipulating you. Men, we do it by aggression. But everybody has aggression in their own way. So both men and women need to see therapy for their own specific reasons. When it comes to the men aspect, that is, you know, for aggression, you know, not being too malevolent or too abusive with our masculine power.
Instead of just getting more trauma piling on top of each other. And in a lot of ways, that does come into an aspect of personal responsibility, because it's like my issues with my dad at a certain point has nothing to do with him anymore. At a certain point, it has to do with me and how I process it. And I have to go from, do I want to get angry every time I'm in the same room as him, or do I want to be able to walk in the same room as him and not have that reaction? And that was what I processed in my head when I was going through that therapy.
My father was present in my life. 3, 2, 1, go.
Not to jump into this one, like I absolutely love my dad. I'm even getting a little emotional thinking about my dad. My dad's amazing. My dad was there for me in every way, shape, or form, every facet, every way that he could be there for me and more. He was there for me. He was there to pick me up from school. He was there at my soccer games, my track meets. He was my coach for soccer one year. My dad taught me everything that I know almost. He is who I model my personality after. He is who I aspire to be. I don't think I could have had a better father. It's almost why I'm discouraged to have kids, because I feel the pressure to live up to the example that he set for me. So he was there, still is.
I said somewhat disagree, because I ended up being put in foster care when I was 6 years old with a couple of my younger brothers. And I remember, I don't remember what my dad looks like, but I do remember he passed away when I was around 7 or 8. So I can't really fault him for that. But, you know, my mom, she was widowed, so she lost her husband, and she decided to take care of us. And I don't think my life would be any different. I don't regret not having a dad, but sometimes I do wonder, you know, secretly, you know, what life would have been like if I had that fatherly figure in my life. And I think that's another stereotype, that, you know, black men don't have their fathers in their life. And it's good to see, you know, a lot of y'all over there.
For me, my dad was not as present as he could have been. He's a typical older Belizean dude. Their culture is just very different from American culture. It's very passive aggressive. I remember times being young and I would question my mom all the time, like, hey, like, you know, why is he not around? Why is he not there? And, you know, she did the best she could as a single mother. Now I can say my dad is very present in my life. However, I feel like our relationship is very, like, financial based, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I don't have a real connection with my father. Like, he's there for me if I need something, like if I need to, like, if I want this, if I want that, like he's always there for me, like money wise, but I feel like I'm still like desiring for that real connection. Like how you mentioned how you have that mental connection with your father. Like I feel like I don't have that. So that kind of puts a desire into me to where I'm desperate now to be a father. Not desperate, but I'm desperate to be a father, that I want to do it right and give the things and, you know, make sure that I nurture my kid more than just the money aspect of things. Like I want to be there, you know, and always possible. I kind of feel like now I kind of just suppress it and try to ignore it because he's here now, which I definitely feel like I shouldn't do.
I think that it's never too late to mend a relationship. It's never too late to rewrite the story. I mean, you can't go back in time and change anything, but you can definitely mend the relationship. Because although I have a good relationship with my father, relationships are constant maintenance and they're work. And I know that parents can be toxic too. They can break your heart more than anyone else can. I'm not saying that your dad did. But maybe you should start today. Give him a call, invite him out for a coffee, you know, start somewhere.
Father's Day coming up, dog. You know what I'm saying?
And that is officially a wrap. Yeah.
I bless.
The dude in the orange shirt, the one that was standing in the front, I relate to him the most. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a decent video.
I heavily downrated. Have discussions they have are really important. You know, it's just talking about it is not the best.
Like, share, comment. Let us know how you feel in the comments. Share your thoughts, feedback, and we'll catch y'all for some more Flake Talk. Until then, peace.